America's early morning began long before the Declaration of Independence was signed, before the 50 stars shone on the modern flag, before skyscrapers rose above New York, before the railroads stitched the nation together. There were stories hidden in silence, stories that textbooks rarely mention, stories that shaped the country quietly, stories that still echo beneath the surface of its history. This is the beginning of those forgotten chapters, where truth sleeps in shadow, yet waits to be discovered. Long before the Pilgrims reached Plymouth Rock, the continent was alive with civilizations. The mound builders of Cahokia constructed massive earthen pyramids. Their city once held more people than London. They traded across thousands of miles, and their culture mysteriously faded, leaving behind only silent monuments, whose meanings historians still debate. Ancient artwork on cave walls suggests lost traditions and forgotten ways of life, a reminder that America's story did not start in 1776, but thousands of years earlier. When European explorers first arrived, they encountered landscapes shaped by indigenous hands, forests carefully managed, rivers used as highways, agriculture more advanced than often acknowledged. Corn, beans, and squash fed entire nations, and knowledge passed through generations. But most of this wisdom vanished after colonization, leaving behind mysteries about what could have been and what was lost forever. One hidden page of early American history lies in Roanoke, the lost colony that disappeared without a trace. A single word carved into a tree, Croatoan, was the only clue. Their houses were left standing, their belongings untouched, no sign of struggle, just absence. Some historians believe they assimilated with local tribes. Others think they migrated inland, but no definitive trace has ever been found, making it one of America's longest unsolved mysteries. Another forgotten story lives beneath Manhattan, where a forgotten African burial ground was discovered. More than 400 men, women, and children were unearthed, buried during the 17th and 18th centuries. They were enslaved Africans whose contributions built early New York. Their labor laid streets, constructed buildings, and shaped the city's foundation. Yet their names were never recorded, their history nearly erased, until construction workers rediscovered the burial site in 1991, a silent reminder of truths hidden beneath modern America. In the 18th century, as the colonies struggled for independence, there existed a forgotten group of spies known as the Culper Ring. Ordinary citizens, farmers, merchants, riders risked their lives to deliver coded messages. Invisible ink tarried secrets across enemy lines. A female spy, still unidentified, played a key role. Her identity remains a mystery. Historians simply call her Agent 355. She helped uncover British plots and vanished from records after the war. Her courage underestimated, yet essential to American victory. Another unknown truth hides within the story of George Washington. He didn't want to be president. He longed for peace, for Mount Vernon, for a quiet life. But he accepted the role out of duty, and when he left office, people begged him to serve a third term. He refused, setting a tradition that lasted until Franklin Roosevelt. Even today, Washington's resignation is considered one of the greatest acts of democratic restraint. As America expanded westward, many tales were left out of mainstream history, including the story of York, an enslaved man who journeyed with Lewis and Clark. He hunted, he traded, he negotiated with native tribes. He saved lives. Yet for years his contributions were overshadowed. He remained enslaved even after the famous expedition, a forgotten hero in America's greatest exploration story. Further west, the California gold rush shaped American culture, but behind golden dreams were dark realities. Chinese immigrants built railroads under brutal conditions. Mexican miners were taxed unfairly. Native communities were destroyed. Yet stories of their resilience survive, buried beneath the glitter of gold, waiting to be told with honesty. During the Civil War, not every state was clear in its loyalties. Kentucky declared itself neutral. Missouri had two governments, and thousands of Native American warriors fought on both sides, a complexity rarely discussed because history often prefers simple narratives. But truth is rarely simple, and America's past is woven with contradictions. Abraham Lincoln himself carried secrets, including a dream he had shortly before his assassination. He dreamed of walking into the East Room and seeing a covered corpse. When he asked who had died, a soldier in the dream replied, "The president has been killed." Lincoln awoke unsettled and shared the dream with friends. Days later, it came true, a haunting coincidence lost in the deeper folds of history. Meanwhile, women played powerful roles in shaping the nation, but many were erased from records. Sybil Ludington rode farther than Paul Revere, warning militias in the dead of night, yet her bravery remains less celebrated. Clara Barton risked her life on battlefields, later founding the Arica Red Cross, but many other women, whose names we no longer know, carried messages, healed soldiers, and upheld communities throughout the war. Their stories drift like whispers through time. Another hidden chapter lies beneath Ellis Island. Millions arrived seeking hope, but some were detained for weeks. Others were denied entry, families separated, dreams shattered. Still others found their future on the very same day, a mix of joy and heartbreak rarely shown in movies or textbooks, yet deeply woven into America's identity. As the Industrial Revolution began, another forgotten community rose in Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, a thriving center of African American wealth. Businesses, schools, banks, and culture flourished until it was destroyed in the Tulsa Race Massacre of 1921, a tragedy long suppressed, ignored in classrooms, and absent from public memory, until recent efforts brought the truth forward, a reminder that America's progress carries shadows that must be understood to be healed. During World War II, a secret group of Navajo code talkers used their language to send encrypted messages. Their code was never broken, saving thousands of lives. But their service remained classified for decades. Only recently did they receive full recognition. Another example of unseen sacrifices woven into the nation's victories. In the early days of space exploration, another forgotten figure emerged,
Katherine Johnson, a mathematician whose calculations guided NASA missions. Her work made space travel possible, yet she remained invisible for years. Only late in life did she gain the acknowledgement she deserved. Her story a testament to brilliance overlooked and potential suppressed by prejudice. America's story is not only triumph, but also trial. Not only glory, but also hidden truths. And these truths, often lost in dusty archives, carry the heartbeat of history. They remind us that the nation was built not just by famous leaders, but by countless unnamed hands, invisible yet powerful, silent yet essential, together forming a
The deeper you go into America's hidden past, the more layers you uncover. And each layer reveals truths that reshape the way we understand the nation. Far in the southwest, there stands the ancient city of Mesa Verde, with its breathtaking cliff dwellings built by ancestral Puebloans. Their architecture was so advanced that even modern engineers admire it. Yet their final disappearance remains an unsolved mystery. Some say drought forced them to leave. Others say conflict drove them away. But the truth remains buried in stone and in the quiet halls of their abandoned homes. Moving eastward, you find another forgotten chapter, the story of the Galagichi people, descendants of enslaved Africans who preserved unique language, music, and traditions along the coasts of South Carolina and Georgia. Their culture blends African roots with American soil, creating one of the most distinct identities in the United States. Yet their history remains underreported, despite its deep influence on Southern culture. In the heartland, long before highways crossed the landscape, indigenous tribes built trade routes, connecting the Great Lakes to the Gulf of Mexico. Goods traveled thousands of miles. Copper, shells, stones, ceramics. These networks functioned like ancient highways, evidence of a sophisticated economic system that predates European arrival by centuries. But the full scale of this network is still being uncovered, piece by piece. In the Rocky Mountains, another story lies hidden. The tale of forgotten frontier women who lived in mining towns, worked as doctors, teachers, homesteaders. Some even became successful business owners. They braved harsh winters, isolation, and lawless communities. Their courage helped build the West. Yet history books often reduce them to footnotes or stereotypes, leaving their real stories untold. During America's railroad expansion, thousands of workers labored day and night. Irish immigrants blasted tunnels through mountains. Chinese laborers endured extreme conditions. Black workers laid tracks after emancipation. Native guides helped locate safe routes. Yet their names rarely appear in the story of progress. Their sacrifices hidden beneath steel rails. Their sweat woven into every mile of track that connected the continent. Hidden deep in southern forests, the resistance of self-liberated enslaved Africans created maroon communities. They lived in swamps, built hidden settlements, farmed, hunted, and protected each other. Their survival required intelligence, courage, and unity. These communities challenged slavery long before the Civil War, but their stories were rarely documented, left instead to whispers and legends. In the world of early American science, one remarkable figure stands out: Benjamin Banneker, a free African-American mathematician who helped survey Washington, D.C., and accurately predicted solar eclipses using calculations he developed himself. His brilliance defied the limitations placed upon him, yet many of his documents were lost when his cabin burned shortly after his death, silencing much of his life's work. But his legacy still shines, like a quiet star in the nation's sky. As the 20th century advanced, America faced new challenges. One forgotten group shaped the nation quietly: the Harlem Hellfighters during World War I. They fought longer on the front lines than any other American unit. Their bravery earned France's highest honors. But back home, they faced discrimination, their heroism forgotten for decades, until historians revived their story, revealing their extraordinary courage. In the Midwest, an unusual piece of history hides in plain sight: giant concrete arrows stretching across the landscape. They were built in the 1920s to guide early airmail pilots before radar existed. Pilots followed these arrows from coast to coast, delivering mail across vast distances. These forgotten markers, now weathered by time, stand as quiet reminders of America's aviation beginnings. On the Pacific coast, another hidden story unfolds. Japanese-American families were forced into internment camps during World War II. But what many don't know is that some Japanese Americans secretly volunteered to serve in the U.S. Army from inside the camps. Their regiment became one of the most decorated in military history. They fought for freedom while their own families were imprisoned, a heartbreaking contradiction that still resonates today. In the Deep South, there existed a secret network of black entrepreneurs who built thriving business districts known as freedmen's towns, complete with banks, newspapers, schools, and churches. These towns symbolized resilience after emancipation, but many were destroyed or absorbed into larger cities, their histories nearly erased from maps and memory. Yet their spirit remains as a testament to determination and hope. During the space race, while astronauts captured global attention, little-known engineers, technicians, and mathematicians worked behind the scenes to solve problems no one had solved before. Some came from small towns. Some were immigrants chasing dreams. Some were women breaking barriers. Together, they helped send humans beyond Earth, their names seldom recognized, even though their work made America a spacefaring nation. In the realm of medical history, a forgotten group called the Mercy Dogs served during wars. These trained dogs carried supplies, found wounded soldiers, and delivered messages, saving countless lives. Their service was crucial, yet rarely mentioned, a small but powerful reminder that many heroes walk on four legs. Hidden across the nation are hundreds of abandoned towns known as ghost towns. Some faded after gold dried up. Others drowned beneath reservoirs. Some collapsed after industries vanished. These towns remain frozen in time, echoes of dreams, fortunes, failures, and the restless spirit of American expansion. History's silent corners teach us that America is not just a story of presidents, or battles, or famous speeches. It is a vast landscape of human experiences, some bright, some painful, some almost forgotten, yet all essential to understanding the real identity of the nation.
And as we uncover these hidden truths, we begin to see America more clearly, not as a story with a single author, but as a tapestry woven by millions, each thread unique, each thread meaningful, each thread contributing to a greater whole. A story still unfolding with countless pages, waiting to be discovered, remembered, and shared with future generations who will carry these truths forward